Yeah, I wanted to get back on the live because I missed a whole bunch of conversations when I got to the tire shop. There was a guy waiting, one person ahead of me, which is cool. Um, and so I sat down on the bench next to him to get my place in line and started having a conversation with him. And to me, the most important people in your life are the people that are actually in your life. Like, he's right next to me. I'm not one of these people that will ignore somebody because I got a phone on me. And so I ignored the chat and everybody left. And I get it, I understand. But, I like to engage with people, talk with people. Um, that's why I'm here. I like engaging with people. It's a little chilly this morning in the shade here. It's about 45, 50 degrees maybe. It's going to warm up to 71, they say. This is one of my favorite times of the year. It's like to me, kind of like the very bottom dregs of your uh, fruit juice or something, or the bottom of the coffee with the thickest part of just we're at the end of the season, the end of the year. It's harvest time. We get these cool nights come in. I'm in the Midwest, northern Midwest, like Indiana, outside of Chicago. And I live in the country. I love the fall. I love the autumn. It's wonderful. There's nothing like the feeling of that cool fall air. Hey, T Rex, what's going on? I was doing a live stream on my way here, and I'm at the tire shop. And I had to wait in line, and there's a guy next to me, so I started talking with him, and I had to ignore the chat because I don't like to ignore people in my real life because I got a phone in my hand, This guy, look at this guy, that guy. Oh, it's that guy. That's who it is. That guy. Hey, welcome, that guy. 68. Scenario something. You look like you kiss. Oh, nope, nope. I don't know why you think I look like that, but I know how trolls are, and you're welcome to be here, troll. That's what I do. I troll people sometimes too, but I troll them with truth when they're teaching lies. That's basically what I do. When I come into live streams where people are bullshitting and they're putting on a character and they're basically trying to turn it into a business and make money at it, I call them out. I troll people, but I don't censor the channel. You can say whatever you want to say. People know what kind of person you are just by your words. Hey, that guy. I'm living the dream. I'm doing good. I got plenty of sleep last night. I got a full day ahead of me. Right now, I'm at the tire shop getting my tire fixed, and then I'm going to be hitting the road again and get a whole bunch of work done. So I'm kind of glad. Hi, Crimson. Diamond. Welcome to the stream. Good day to you. I hope you have a good day. I'm having a good day. Hopefully you go live later. Headed to work. Hey, later on, T-Rex. Thanks for stopping in, man. A new sub for me. Oh, okay, cool. So, you probably saw I do have one mod that was in and out, and that's okay, whatever. But I tell my mods not to censor anybody for the content of their speech, Whatever you say, you're welcome to. Trolls, fans, haters, lovers, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to censor somebody except for spam. That's one thing that I do censor people in my chat over is spam because it interferes with the engagement. And some people will spam and then you got to try to scroll through to read. And I'm just like, no, if you're going to spam the chat and not engage in an actual conversation, bye-bye. That's it. But yeah, you want to come here and troll and, say whatever you want to say, you're welcome to. I don't care. Wisdom should always be questioned. It's wise to question wisdom, but it's even wiser to heed wisdom. Crimson Diamond, you look like a man. You look like a man. Wait, ooh. Yeah. Trying to see. Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat real quick. See what I mean? Yeah, I don't know, man. I think all things should be, hey, cool. Thanks that guy. You know, I'm not. So I just want to let you guys know, I'm not the type of person who's going to put on some kind of a show. I'm not. I'm going to be myself. That's what I do in the live stream. I am who I am in life and online. I don't try to put on a show. I'm not trying to build a business out of it. It would be kind of cool to be able to make money, but I mean, who wants? I don't get a lot of people that really like um, the things that I talk about, because I do talk about a lot of in-depth topics, things that go a little deeper than people want to consider. Because basically, people want to be happy, and happiness. The key to happiness is complete ignorance. That's the key to complete happiness is complete ignorance. He that increaseth in knowledge increaseth in sorrow, and he that increaseth in wisdom increaseth in grief. With much wisdom comes much grief. And so if you want to be happy, I mean, you can have joy, and I have joy in God, in Christ. But in this world, there's a lot of grief, there's a lot of sorrow, and I speak of those things in the reality of them, because we are all deceived. We have all been deceived in one thing or another. And so I kind of, I speak the truth of things that I've searched out. And I also like to learn. So people will come into the chat and tell me things that I didn't know. And I'm going to take it. I'm not going to hold it in my heart and believe it a lot of times, but I'll take it and I'll critically think about it. So when somebody comes in here with, even last night I was talking with a guy that's, promoting the flat earth ideology. He's a little bit off kilter, but that's not a problem. There are some things that he mentioned that have validity to them, which is how people are deceived, usually with a little bit of truth, and then they mix that in with a lie. And so you got to be able to decipher and distinguish and figure out what the truth is, and address contradictions in what you believe, because if you have two contradictory beliefs, either one or both of them are not true. And so I like to kind of sift through and find out what the truth is. My whole life has been, my whole adult life since I became born again, has been escaping deceptions and learning things. I love to learn things. I never had a passion for knowledge until I became born again. And God told me, my people are destroyed. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. He doesn't want us to be dumb. But there are a lot of people that are dumb on purpose. Anyway, wise man here. Oh, that guy, you're a wise man? I'm wondering, 68, are you 1968? Is that what the 68 is for? Well, I know you're that guy. You're that guy. Got to watch out for that guy. But yeah, YouTube puts me usually in a little corner. I've got more. This morning, for some reason, I'm back in the mainstream. I think people are finding me through swiping that have never seen my channel before. And usually, when I go live, I'll go into the mainstream and then I'll come right back out. And so I'll have like 2 to 5 people in the chat, which is cool with me. But I figure, if God wants you to be on my channel, you're going to be here. You're going to find me. God's going to make that happen through the algorithms, if that's what it takes. But the algorithms are not controlled by God, but they are subject to God, if that makes sense. No, not me. I am talking about you. I know, dude. I was just being facetious. That's a form of, or a display of humility. A display of humility. You can't be talking about me being wise. Yeah. So here's another interesting thing about me. I am a very unique person. Some people think I'm somewhat what's the word? I can't even think of the word. Some people think I'm a little off. I don't walk to the regular masses of this world do. I do not own a TV. I haven't owned a TV in probably, 12 years, I think. It's been 12 years since I owned a TV. But even before then, I stopped watching the TV probably 5 to 7 years before that. When I found out the truth about 9/11, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want anything to do with it. And and so at the time, I still entertained myself with fiction that was specifically geared called Christian entertainment, Christian music, Christian books, Christian movies. And then I got to realizing one time I was actually watching a movie. It was a Christian movie, and that's a heavy quotes right there. It was called The Prayer Room, I think. I'm pretty sure that was the last movie I ever watched. And it was when it came out in the theaters. My estranged wife and my sons and I went in to go see it. And we were estranged at the time. And we go in, and I'm watching this movie, and it was a story. And I actually was in the entertainment industry as a musician, singer, songwriter, and performer. And so I know how things are scripted. And that's one thing I never liked about the industry, was things were scripted in the Christian arena. But here I am watching this movie, and it's this, there's some dude that's 100% against God and against the Christians. And this lady gets into her prayer closet. That's why it's called the prayer room, I think, or something like that. But she gets into this prayer room, and she has all these lists of peoples that she prays for, and she's praying for this guy. And her prayers, this is the storyline, her prayers reach, God answers her prayers and saves this man. He becomes born again. And the moment he became born again, they've got all the background music, all the soundtracks, and all the motions, and all of the things going on to really grab your heart. And here's the thing. As somebody who has been saved by Jesus Christ, delivered and forgiven from much, my desire, my heart's desire, is to see people become born again, to see people find the same mercy I found, to show people the same mercy that I have been shown. And that's my heart's desire. And so when I see this happening on the screen, it begins to tug at my heartstrings. And tears start coming out of my eyes of joy. I'm like crying over joy, like this person is saved. And then, as if it was just a huge nuclear bomb, bam, I realized this scene is fiction. It was written down in a book as fiction. It is not true. And fiction at its very foundation is a lie. And then I got to thinking about how my heart was moved with this fiction, with this lie, and knowing the entertainment industry and how everything is set up, and all of the everything for the moment is to grab the heart of the audience. And that's why they speak of capturing your audience. The word entertainment means to capture or to hold together, and it's always been in a religious setting. That's where theater actually came from, religion, of people's hearts being captured and drawn into, be led into a worldview. And so after that, I stopped and this is kind of something, hey, I may be a little bit overzealous on areas, but I don't entertain myself with fiction. I don't watch movies. I don't listen to the radio. My truck radio, anytime it ever turns on, is on accident when I'm trying to set the time for the settings or whatever. I prefer truth over lies. I actually hate lies, and here's why. And I found it to be true, that when we allow our heart to be entertained by fiction, by something that's not true, by a lie, even if it's not a story tale that we're reading or watching in a book, or we're being captured by a song in our hearts. When somebody tells us something, or we see like a bunch of people jumping out of a building in 9/11, and we were told that they found the guys, or that they discovered who did it, then our hearts are captured and taken by the storyline, which is a lie. And then once we give a lie a place in our heart, then what else do you think can come in there? Lies, because you've opened up the door to your heart. And so I actually recommend people to just really truly have a love for the truth. Seek God, seek mercy. He loves to show mercy. He rejoices to give mercy to people. And seek to not be deceived. Seek to know, to have a love for the truth, and be willing to address things that we may be emotionally invested into, to find out if they're true or not. No, I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. I don't. Um, Sorry to cut you off, but I gotta go, man. Have a great day. Take it easy, that guy. Um, yeah, and so to have a love for the truth, you really do have to consider the things that you are emotionally invested into believing. Like, there's a guy that came into the chat who is emotionally invested into not believing in God. He's very angry. He's cussing. But he's just, I'm talking about Jensen. So Jans, I maybe you've left, maybe you're still here. I don't censor my chat. You're welcome to say what you want to say. People will see by your words what you write, and as God said, it is true. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and the keyboard typeth, or the thumbs type on the keyboard. What is inside is going to come out in your own words. And so we can always tell what is in a person's heart. We can't see everything in a person's heart, but we can see what's in a person's heart by the words they speak, by the words they write, by the way they drive. That's another thing I've observed. When you look at how a person drives, you can tell what's in their heart. Do they have love for their neighbor, or are they selfish? It's true. Do they really have a consideration for others, or are they out for, number one, what they call it, and it's something a lot of people want to consider. And I've heard people try to argue with me on that. And I'm like, well, it's what I've observed. And, you can see if you really do have care for somebody else and somebody's trying to get in, you'll let them in. When you see a big semi truck that's got a 53-foot long trailer, and he's about to come into a tight spot where he's going to be stuck, and you don't open up that area for him, you literally have put yourself above them and made their situation even worse. That's another thing. I've had a lot more truck drivers than not will be very aggressive and offensive, and sometimes very malicious the way they drive. I do not judge every truck driver according to every other truck driver. And I give the courtesy unto every one of them that I see. If I see somebody's driving like an idiot and being aggressive and malicious, I'm not going to give them courtesies that they don't deserve. But just in the fact that men are driving these long trucks, we need truck driver deliveries. We need those. That's how the logistics of this world works. And I encourage you to open up that space for them. Think about other people on the road. Somebody's sitting there waiting to make a left-hand turn, and you're coming up to a stoplight, and you're going to either stop before and let them through, or you're going to block them. If you have the choice, which are you going to do? Are you going to stop before and say, hey, this guy, who knows how long he's been there? I've sat at stop signs before trying to make a left-hand turn for 8 to 10 minutes, and people just completely ignore it and don't let you through, and they're stopped at a stoplight. And that's one of the things I would consider you to think about other people when you're on the road. Slow down. That's another important thing. Slow down. If you drive the speed limit and people are like, oh no, you can't drive the speed limit, slow down. When you slow down on the road, you have a lot more reaction time for anything that might come up suddenly. When you keep a far distance between you and the car in front of you, you have a lot more reaction time, and you're probably not going to get into any accidents unless somebody else is just driving batshit crazy and you don't have time to react because you didn't see it coming, like what I had last month. First accident I've been into in over 10 years. And all of them were not my fault. They were somebody else's. But, just if you slow down, you have a lot more time to contemplate, consider, um, when you're coming up to an intersection with a light is red, let off your gas. There's no need to speed up to come to a stop. You're just going to run your engine down. You're going to run your tires down, your brakes down, and driving dangerously. But if you slow down, then you become more contemplative. And in that, you're able to consider other people's plights a little bit more so. But I see people all the time on the road. They're speeding up to get to a red light, speeding up to get to a red light, speeding up. And it's like, why? Why are you in such a hurry? Because they think they're going to get there faster, but they're not. They're actually going to put themselves in a worse situation with the wear and tear on every part of their vehicle that they use. And I don't say this as some kind of a moral high ground either. Like, somebody might look at that and say, oh, look at who does this guy think he is? He's like, no. I say it's for your benefit. It's really going to benefit you if you consider the things I say. It's going to be good for you, and it's going to be good for the rest of the people on the road. And frankly, we have enough hatred, enough animosity that people have toward one another. The only people I can say that I really do have hatred toward, and I do, there are people I hate, are pastors who literally make a living lying to people. I hate it when people intentionally deceive, when it is to somebody else's detriment or to their own benefit. I can't stand lies. I hate lies. But a lot of people are deceived, and they're deceiving not knowingly. And that's something where you really would have to know whether or not they are aware of the deception. And that's what I like to do. I like to go, when I find people that are promoting lies, especially pastors, I like to get down to the foundational teachings that they teach and ask them if they know what God says about these things. And if they are deceived and they're not intentionally lying to people, they will consider and enter into a reasonable discussion regarding the scriptures. But if they have turned their ears away from Jesus Christ, who is the Word of God, and turned their ears away from the truth, they will immediately despise somebody that's presenting God's words that are going to correct their lies. I get that a lot. It looks like the chat froze up, so I'm going to check it real quick. No. I don't know why. It looks like, according to the Google thing, I got over 10 people, a dozen people in the chat here, but nobody's saying nothing. But hey, if you're content to listen to me ramble about, then cool. But I do like to engage with people, so I don't censor the chat. YouTube censors. I wish they didn't, but they do. I got moderators. I give people the wrench that are coming to the live stream more than once, more than twice sometimes, and they're cool. They're not malicious. If they're malicious, I won't give them a wrench, but if they're cool, I give people a wrench, not so they can censor the chat, but so that they can access the feature to be able to tap on somebody's name and then go and network with somebody else, so they're not beholden to, whenever I'm live, they can see somebody that they want to, communicate with. It's like, go to their channel. People like me, I've got an email on my channel. You can go to my email and send me an email. If you're in the United States or Canada or Mexico, we can talk on the phone. I engage with people. I don't try to not. I like to talk with people. And I understand it takes more time to type something in than it does to speak. And which is why I really do put a value to whatever you're going to type in here. And even if it's the haters and the dissenters and the trolls. I mean, oh, you took the time to type it in, man. I mean, you took your time to type that in. So I'm going to value that as being words that have come from you. Thank God for good water. I'm going to go real quick and see if they got my truck. I can't tell. Yep, they have put my truck in the shop. Cool. I'm at Discount Tire for those of you that just came in. I'm gonna see where they're at with it. Cool. How's it going?
Almost done, just gotta put on the caps.
That's it?
Yep.
Cool. Was there any leaks in the other tires?
No. This is that one.
Okay, and where's the one that was leaking? Did you change it or did you?
Yeah. So it wasn't like changed, but it was patched up.
Did you find the hole where the screw was?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I found that. Got it all plugged up and patched.
Thank you. So is it going to be in the back then?
So it's gonna be this one right here.
Okay. So you don't cross them over when you rotate them?
So the way it goes is the fronts are moved to the back and the back are crisscross.
Okay. So they only crisscross every other time. So like the next time, these two will be crisscrossed.
So yeah, these two, the next time we get one.
Yeah. So every other time, oh, I got it. So they're not both all crisscrossed. Okay, I didn't know that.
So yeah, sometimes even in the manual, it'll even say like the fronts will move to the back and then the rears will crisscross. And
right.
Then if you have directional tires, they'll just swap from the front to the back and the front or the back.
Oh yeah.
They can't be crisscrossed
because they're directional. Yeah, it'll wear them out. Cool. Thanks, man.
Yep.
I like learning stuff. All right, I'm gonna cut out here. Then nobody's talking. Peace.